Tony Taylor from TMD. Hi Tony, thank you for coming on.
Good morning, John.
Good morning. Now, I've been asking this of everybody who turns up. I know you, we've spoken many times.
We have.
I might have to assume that the viewers may not all know who you are and who tell us about TMD in that case.
So TMD is Transmedia Dynamics, media asset management company. We're a software developer and we implement software for broadcast, media and archive organisations around the world. Customers like the National Film and Sound Archive of Australia, Discovery, US Senate, organisations like that.
So, where in the workflow does your software sit?
First of all, you have to define what workflow actually is, because you go around these halls and you'll see lots of people saying workflow.
Okay, let's go by your definition of workflow.
What's the definition of workflow? I mean, essentially where we sit in the content chain is customers these days, broadcasters, media organisations, need to create and prepare more content for more delivery platforms than ever before.
Yeah.
We've got the traditional delivery platforms of broadcast, satellite, direct to home, etc. But more and more and increasingly, people are consuming content on new devices, on your laptop, on your iPhone. Now I look at my two daughters, they have 24 and 22, and they're turning around and they've got a phone in one hand, their laptop in the other, and the TV going. So they're actually watching content on three devices. So where we sit in the workflow is when that content needs to be prepared for delivery.
Right.
So it's the basis of the metadata, managing the metadata up front, bringing all that information in, and then preparing the content for all the different platforms. And you know, if you're trying to prepare the content, there's hundreds of platforms, hundreds of formats that have all got to be created. So we sit in the content preparation and delivery. So
it's not as simple as thinking, oh, I've got my piece of content, I want it to go on Netflix, I want it to go on an iOS device with something like a similar sort of platform like iPlayer or something like that. I need it to be downloadable content and I want to play it out over the air in standard format.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't just drop a file up there and hit play.
And hit play. That's what we try to achieve with our software, is to allow that to happen.
Right.
But what goes on is really complex. So for instance, you know, rights management. So where can people play this content? So if it's acquired content, films, etc., then how can it be played? Can it be downloaded to own? Can it be downloaded to rent?
Yeah.
So it is simple in the consumption because they just hit play on their device and it goes. But the workflow process is prior to that. So for just one film, you might be creating 40, 50, 60 different files because you need it on all the different platforms that have got all different formats. So it's not as simple, but our software tries to make it simple for our customers, which are the broadcasters and content owners.
So, for example, in our family, we used to have Sky TV and we had their full package and we used to watch everything on the television. Over the years, that's completely changed. I now have Freeview. I subscribe to Netflix. We're watching iPlayer. Everything is that we watch, nearly everything other than news and things is on demand, pre-recorded. So something like Netflix, which is very popular now in the UK. That still has multiple devices, so we can watch it on a PS3, an Xbox 360, an iPhone, an iPad. But that's different formatted.
It's formatted different, so it's different files for the different formats. Now, some may be similar, some may be the same, so the different elements. But because of the way that the device manufacturers have looked at their formats, you know, some of them want to lock people into certain formats, other formats. So it becomes a problem for content owners to deliver their product purely and simply to a single platform with a single file. So it has to be multiple files. So
obviously we have no way of demonstrating it, but try and do it with words. The idea behind your software is that they can create this multiple versions of content in the format that each of these devices need for something like Netflix.
Absolutely.
With a simple.
Well, it's simple in the way that it operates. because what we're looking at is, for a start off, you then get back to the complexities of rights management.
Yeah.
And of course now, with the internet, we're going over territories.
Yes.
So people buy rights to programs to play out in certain territories,
Yeah.
and therefore you've got the issues of that. So the software looks at the rights, looks at the devices it needs to send it to, looks at the platforms that it needs to send it to, and all this is metadata.
Right.
So metadata is king
Yeah.
within these systems. If you haven't got the right metadata, you're not going to deliver it to the right platforms, or if you deliver it to a platform, you might be delivering it in a time frame that you haven't got rights for. So it looks at the rights, looks at the information, and decides what it needs to create to fulfill the demand on that
Yeah.
platform.
So obviously, being in this industry, and you really have to know everything there is to know as such about all the different platforms and technologies that are going on. As far as you see it, IPTV is on the up and will continue to, that's it, it's away.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But one of the things that's being said is that standard linear TV is
Yeah.
dead. And I don't believe that to be the case,
Right.
because I believe that not only are the non-linear platforms, delivery platforms as we call them, expanding.
Yep.
IPTV, everybody uses different terms, OTT, IPTV, VOD, whatever it
Yep.
might be. Essentially it's delivering content in a different way. But the current platforms for distribution, the linear TV platforms, I believe will continue, but not in the way that they are today.
Right.
You've just turned around and said you don't have Sky anymore, you have Freeview.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it will
Right.
go. You know, so we will have the standard platforms, the traditional platforms,
Yep.
and we will get an increasing number of digital platforms.
Yeah. So managing this content then, with all these multiple devices, you say it used to be, you used to go to channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it used to go out
Yep.
in linear, and now, as you say, there are hundreds. How do you manage that? How is that done?
It's becoming a huge problem for our customers
Yep.
to be able to manage that. For instance, we've got one of our clients that last year put 40,000 hours of content onto one of the digital delivery platforms.
Yeah.
This year, they want to put 750,000 hours. So that growth, and the only way you can manage that growth is by putting in automated software solutions
Yeah.
to create that content. So it is all about the metadata. It's all about managing and making sure that metadata is accurate
Yeah.
and able to be read through the system to be able to create the content and deliver it out to the platforms in the right manner, in the right format, with the right quality, and the right territories, etc.
Brilliant. Tony, that's brilliant. Now, if people want to come and see you and talk about this in a bit more depth, where will they find you here at IBC?
They'll find us in Hall 2
Yeah.
on C58.
Yeah.
It's right at the front of Hall 2, so we've got a good position. So, and they can find us on the web
Yeah.
at www.tmd.tv.
Brilliant. Tony, thank you for coming on. Always interesting talking to you about this. Much appreciate you coming on the show.
No
And
worries.
stepping away from your booth for a little while. If you want to go and have a look, I will say it again, he's in Hall 2C58. The man knows his stuff about content management and IPTV, I can tell you that. Of course, if you haven't managed to get here, have a look at their website. There is a plethora of information and, more importantly, his contact number, so you can give him a call there as well, I should think.